Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, it's awesome to have you here with me today. And if you're returning, it's great to see you again. So in this video, what you'll receive is my channeled message I'm going to share with you, also a page from the Daily Angel Guidance book, and a card from the Universal Love Healing deck. Now, I have no idea what I've pulled with those until I share them with you. Before I get into the channeled message, please note that this is a collective group message, so it may not resonate with you, and that's simply okay. Like, come back and visit me tomorrow where it may be more aligned with what you need to know for the day. So let's get into the message. Where does suppressed events get stored? In the subconscious brain, right? Have you thought about things you may have suppressed? I'm sure many of you have. What about where your suppressed emotions attached to the suppressed events? Where are they stored? In the mind or the gut? In the gut, of course, because we know that that's where all our emotions are, from the heart and in the gut space. Now, if you believe that to be true, that our suppressed events get stored in the subconscious mind or brain, and the emotions that are attached to those events are stored in the gut, I want to pose this question to you. If you only work on the mind, the subconscious mind, so only the events which are stored in the brain, what then happens to all of the emotions attached to the suppressed traumatic events? Where do they go? For some of you watching this, I hope that question really makes sense for all of you watching this. But for some of you, I was going to go down a path, but that's coming later on in the message. Sometimes I jump ahead. I get a bit excited, and this particular topic I am extremely passionate about, and I hope from this message, my intention is to just plant seeds, food for thought. I hope that you watch this and walk away going, freaking great question. I want to know more about that. So where do they go, the emotions that are attached to the event? They're two different things. My belief is they sit there. They stay in the pit of your gut, in the darkness where often we're not even aware that they're hiding. And over time, if they do not get healed and released or even looked at, it's going to cause dis-ease in your body, which flows and can often end in toxicity in your body. So actually cause different little illnesses that you may have. I'm not giving medical advice. I'm only offering another perspective in which to look at that you may not have looked at if you are not well and they can't find anything. I shared a story a few videos ago that I kept passing out and lost all bladder and bowel control. I had every test possible known to man and they never found anything. And I honestly believe now on reflection, there was still so much emotional trauma that I had not released, and that was causing the toxicity in my body, which ended up morphing into the form of passing out and all of that happening to me. And once I did that emotional work, I haven't had an episode in 5 years. Why all of a sudden did it just disappear? But all my emotional trauma attached to all the suppressed events that I held, I've worked and released. So I want to ask another question. For those of you watching this, you may have worked with experts. Now I'm talking psychologists, psychiatrists, counsellors, whoever else is in the field. Please note that this is not judgment of their work, okay? This is only offering perspective. if you've worked with experts to heal or to work through your stuff, and I always say it's to rebalance your emotion, your mental state, right? So if you were suffering from mental health and you were seeing experts in order to really work through that mental health and just improve self, and you're still struggling, right? You're still struggling and you can't find the answer. You don't know why when you've done the work. So I'm going to offer a suggestion, and this is just a perspective, okay? Are you still carrying the emotional trauma that's attached to the event that you've worked through? So you may have worked through all of the stuff in the mind, right? Because we know psychologists and psychiatrists are all about the head, the mind, because that's, some say, chemical imbalance, all the rest of that. So if that's where predominantly you have worked, what work have you done on your gut, the emotional attachment to that traumatic event? What work have you done on that? Just a question for you, food for thought. The mind and gut must be worked on to heal and release the suppressed event. It must go hand in hand. You cannot do one without the other in order to heal and release it. And vice versa. If you're only working on the gut and not working on the mindset. For me, I say it's an incomplete therapy treatment. It's not complete. And so maybe for some of you out there that are watching that are still struggling, maybe that's your reason why, is because it's incomplete. You haven't worked through and healed and released the emotional attachments to whatever you have endured. I so hope that this makes sense, that I'm coming across and I'm articulating what I know to be true clearly for you, so it makes sense. Because I know sometimes my articulation isn't clear and it confuses people and my language is different. I hope that it's clear what I'm saying. That without doing the gut and the mind work, there's an incomplete healing. So if you've just done all the work here and you've said you've worked through it, I'm going to say, would you say that you've healed and released it? And maybe if you feel that you haven't, it's because you have not addressed yet the emotional attachment to that event that you worked through. I hope that makes sense. Because this is so important. And I want to leave you with one last thing. And this is my belief. And this is it's my belief. And I want to share it with you today. We must change from mental health to balanced health. Because when you look at the word mental on its own, what's the meaning behind it? What do you perceive? What's the word? The stigma, that's the word. The stigma attached to the word mental, for me, it's crazy. So I don't feel anyone should be diagnosed with crazy health or crazy illness. All of depression, all of that, and it states in the book, and I've got the book and I should have got it up, the SM5 or whatever it is, it's the clinical psychologist's book that they go to. It states that so much of the illnesses diagnosed stem from a traumatic event, generally from childhood or even adult, a traumatic event that has impacted you so greatly that causes this imbalance, not only in your mind, but in your body, the emotion in the gut. And this is all, I'm not saying factual, I'm just sharing with you my belief. And I'm not endeavouring to sway anyone else's opinions. Please note that that's never my intention. I want to be really clear, because today I'm going to share, I was really nervous bringing this one up, and I can feel that emotion because this is my truth. And I know that so much of the world doesn't agree. So it's taken a lot of my power, and I'm way out of my comfort zone of really sharing how I feel. And I know this from the experience and the work that I've done the past, it's nearly 10 years now. I have seen people shift that have gone to the clinical therapists and they've worked through the event, but they miss the emotional connection to that event, the trauma. And that's where I work. I work all in here. I do this after we bring up that. I hope that makes sense for you. And it's not only the mind that causes the inner dis-ease, it's the emotion attached to it. I need to just take a breath because this was pretty daunting for me to speak and share this with you. And I'm not fearful in any way, shape or form of what may come or what comments may be written from this video, because I absolutely feel comfortable and I feel really great that I've shared that with you, because it's simply only offering my perspective. It's nothing more than that, and it comes from a place of love and care. If there is anything in that you'd want to have a discussion with me, absolutely email me. My email address is in the description, and I'm more than happy to speak to you more further about this if you have any questions with what I have shared, because it is my goal and my intention to offer different perspectives. That's it in essence. To those of you who have maybe been struggling, moving forward, it may be that you're just missing that missing link, that you've done all this work, but the emotional work still isn't done. And I hope that maybe for some of you it resonates and goes, oh my gosh, that's it. I salute you. Go and find it and heal from it. So I want to keep moving along because I can speak about this for hours and hours and hours and hours. However, I respect your time. So let's move on to the daily guidance book. What has that got to share with us? Okay. Notice the sounds of nature. The rhythmic sounds of the outdoors help you synchronize with the universe's heartbeat, boosting your ability to be in the right place at the right time. We angels are enlisting nature's help to connect you to her music. Notice the noises that are all around you today. Leaves rustling in the wind, birds chirping, rain, thunder, or ocean waves. Feel your breathing and pulse move in time with these sounds. Listening to the recordings of nature can also help you in this endeavor. Since you're a part of the earth, it's only natural for your body to join in the beautiful rhythm of the Mother Nature's symphony. Thought for today. I notice the sounds of the natural world tuning into the beautiful rhythms of the birds, trees, animals, and the wind. I listen to Mother Nature's music deep within my soul. I allow my own rhythms to synchronize with those of the universe, giving me perfect timing. Okay. For this, there may be some of you that are saying, so when is the right time to work through this? When is the right time to look at what's suppressed? There's no such thing as right time. I always say to people, things present themselves in your thoughts when the time is right. When you are ready to work through a traumatic event, it will present itself in your thoughts. You may just think about it. And you'll go, why am I thinking about that? You're thinking about it because it's coming to the surface. It's time to purge that stuff. So in essence, heal and release it. And you may be fearing, going, I'm not ready, I'm not strong enough. I'm going to share with you, your body will only want to purge something when you're strong enough to purge it. And this may sound all woo-woo. But you know, we always say, oh, things are when the time's right. We say it in passing. And so I want you to entrust in your own body, saying, the timing is right, you're ready. And maybe there's something that you want to do. You've got a goal that you've wanted to achieve, and for some reason you're struggling to achieve it. And then this thought comes up about something traumatic or something in your childhood. Take note of it, because that's something that's holding you back that you're not consciously aware of. And you may not have even connected it to what's going on with you today. That's a comment that a lot of people share with me is, I didn't connect that from my childhood to what's impacting me now, why I feel the way I do. Damn straight it's connected. Of course it's connected. Because how did that childhood event make you feel? If it didn't make you feel good enough, worthy, dumb, whatever it is, that's what you're feeling now. It's triggered it. And if it's brought it up to the surface, it's saying, hey, it's time to look at me. It's time to heal and release me. You're getting opportunity. And that message from the book was saying, stop, listen to the birds, but more closely listen to self. What is your body and your thoughts telling you that you're not hearing because you're so busy and maybe too much in your head? This is saying, take time out. What does it say? Notice the sounds of nature. And of course, nature is natural, right? And so for me, I go, notice the sounds of self, the natural self. What are you saying to self that you're not hearing? That's what I really got from that. But in order to do that, we need to take time out in nature. When was the last time you heard the birds chirping outside? When was the last time you heard the wind rustling, all the leaves? When was the last time you actually noticed the rain on the roof? Because if you haven't noticed those things, you may be too much in here and you're missing the messages. You're missing the signs to heal. So you asked, how do you know when the time is right? The time may be right, but you're just not hearing it. So that's what I get from that. So, one card today, the card that I pulled. Before I share this, what did we get? Oh, sorrow. Okay. Absolutely. Because some of you right now are carrying a lot of sorrow, but you're not really sure why. Because there's maybe a lot of emotional sorrow that you've not looked at yet, or you've not healed and released yet, that's attached to things that you've worked through in here. Go back and then look at the events that you feel you've worked through. And I'm going to say think that you've worked through. And then really take note of your gut, how you feel about it. If you're remembering back on something that, I'm going to say an event that you endured, a painful event or a traumatic event that you endured, and when you go back and remember it, emotions come up. One of anger, one of hate. And they're all emotions that don't serve you. I'm going to say there and then that is your true indication that your emotional attachment to that event has not been healed or released. Because when you have released the emotional attachment to a suppressed event, there's no emotional hatred for that person. I can speak about my past relationship, the abusive, the mentally abusive and sometimes physical abusive relationship. There is no anger that comes up for my ex-husband. There is only, and this may be too soon for you to hear, but for me there's gratitude, because hell, I learn a lot about me from that. And I absolutely took away all the lessons because I've not repeated them. I did not get into another volatile relationship. I do not allow, and I say that, and not that my husband would ever disrespect me, but I would not allow that anymore. If he did, I'd go, not happy with that. I wouldn't allow it. Because I took the lessons and I looked at what part I played in that. So if you're looking back on a past suppressed event or something that you say you've worked through, but it still triggers emotions in you, then you have not healed or released the emotions attached to that event. And there's your answer there. That's your answer. So I'm giving you the tools. I'm giving you ways to identify of how to. I hope that if you need that information, watch this again. If there is an emotional trigger to a past suppressed event and you're angry, hurt, whatever it is, when you're expressing or go back to that memory, then you haven't healed and released the emotions attached to it. And that is what's holding you back. What feelings did you get of self when you look back at that? Did you feel worthless? Did you feel helpless? Did you feel less than? Did you feel not worthy? Is that why you feel that happened to you? There's so many things about an event of how it makes us one feel. How did that event impact you and make you feel? So not only the emotional attachment to it, but the feeling that it made us about self. There's two different components. And that's just came up. So about self, like how did that past suppressed event make you feel about you? Yeah, so the emotional attachment towards the event of that person, do you hold anything there? And also, how did that event make you feel and do you still feel that? 2 steps. So before I get into the message of sorrow, and it's causing a lot of sorrow, these things, and maybe you weren't able to find the cause, and I hope that maybe I've given you some perspective to find the cause. So before I read sorrow from the book, if you'd like to close your eyes, take a deep breath with me. Just to recenter yourself and so you can absorb the words from this message. So let's go to sorrow. All right, let's go. All emotions, even painful ones, offer us a gift. Sometimes we don't realize how precious something is until it's gone. Yet consider that nothing is ever truly lost. For in the realm of spirit, all exists eternally. The events of this life are but a fleeting moment within our internal reality. Through this time, your appreciation of friendship and family will deepen. Feel the unconditional love that is around you. On a soul level, we are all united and spiritually connected to all creation. In the palm of God's hands, we live and die. All the word divine might resonate more with you. Only to discover that it was all a dream. For life on earth is like a play. Everything has their role and the roles keep changing. No one or nothing is ever lost, except if the script we hold says it is. The play goes on and every sorrow will be filled with happiness. So when it talks about the play, our thoughts can often create a theatrical production. And we are the ones who write the script. What's in your script that's causing you sorrow? Because as the page said, the play goes on, and every sorrow will be filled with happiness. I go back to what happened with me for 23 years, or what I endured not happen to me. It absolutely is filled with happiness because it enabled me to become the woman that I am today and have the insight and the foresight and the knowledge and the awareness and the intuition of what I'm sharing with you right now. Do I believe in every cell of my being that if I had not endured what I've endured in my life, would I be here and who I am today? No way. No way. And I believe that in every cell of my being. It was my journey. And the play in the script back then was one of sorrow. Absolutely. Somehow though, I just knew that the end of that script, the end of that production was a happy ending. All I can say is I know I had a knowing. You can say a feeling. I can't express it or explain it any more than that. And I guess the one thing I do say, I was intuitive then. I just didn't know it. I hope that makes sense. So I feel I have kept you long enough, and I really do respect your time with me. So I don't want to take up any more of your time today. And it was a heavy one today, a lot of food for thought. And on my part, really speaking my truth. And it was never my intention to offend or judge anyone. And I hope that is really clear and has come across clearly. I come from a place of love and purely only to offer perspective. That's it. So I hope that you've gained something little. And never forget that you matter. You matter. You are your most valuable asset. So invest in you every day. Because you're worth it. If you enjoyed today's video, please like the video, subscribe to my channel, and also click on the notifications bell so you'll be notified when I upload tomorrow's video. As you may feel, my energy it's not flat. It's so connected and there's this gentleness, and I hope that it is. I'm really wanting to share with you that this is coming from a place of love and care. And I'm so hoping that some of you it will resonate and go, oh my gosh, I didn't know that. Oh my gosh, I wasn't aware of that, or I didn't even look at that perspective. So celebrate you and find if you have suppressed events, have you healed and released the emotional attachment to it? So for today, as always, take care. And thank you for watching today's maybe very long message. I have no idea how time. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Take care.